When it comes to the ancient civilizations of the world, there's often a debate when it comes to the timelines. The first recorded civilization is either said to have begun around 4000 BC or 3300 BC. That early civilization was Mesopotamia, was located in the area of the Tigris and the Euphrates river system, roughly corresponding to most of Iraq, plus Kuwait, the eastern parts of Syria, and regions along the Turkish, Syrian, and Iran-Iraq borders. Mesopotamians were herders, farmers, had knowledge of brass and iron, and developed the cuneiform writing. Often historians place Nimrod, the giant, and the Babylonians in a time frame of around 2300 BC. Between 3200 BC and 2300 BC was the beginning of the first Egyptian civilization, followed by the Old Kingdom. Between 2700 BC and 2300 BC, the Yellow Emperor is said to be the ancestor of Chinese civilizations. Between 2600 BC and 2300 BC, the Indus Valley civilizations came to flourish, one of the three Old World early civilizations.
Between 2600 BC and 2200 BC, the birth of the Mayan civilization of Central America.
The Phoenicians, between 2300 BC and 2200 BC, were great navigators and traders of the world. 23 to 2200 BC, traces of ancient Joseon civilization were found in the area of northern Korea and the southeast of today's China. It led to the Gojoseon kingdom, which is the ancestors of today's Korea. Around 1600 BC, ancient Greece's early stages, to culminate under Alexander the Great of Macedonia. 1100 BC, birth of the Kingdom of Israel, under the second king, David, expanded its military power and conquests. The third king, Solomon, took the kingdom to a prosperity known by all neighbors. He actively worked and traded with the Phoenicians and Assyrians. The kingdom split right after his death and was later utterly destroyed, first by the Assyrians for a portion of it, and finally by the Persians in 600 BC. The survivors fled or were taken captive in Persia. 550 BC, the Persian Empire survived until the Muslim conquest around 650 AD. 500 BC, Roman civilization gave birth to the mighty Roman Empire, its division and gradual decline until the end of the 4th century AD. 622 AD, the Muslim Empire began with the Islamic prophet Muhammad. Its expansion under the Umayyad Caliphate, 7th century, extended conquests to southern Europe, including North Africa, Caucasus, and Central Asia, until 1099. 1200 AD, the Aztecs, the Nahua people, and the Aztlan migrants formed what was to become the Aztec Empire. It ended with the Spanish conquest under Hernan Cortés in the 15th century. 1200 AD, the Incas began in the area of Cusco, Peru. They were conquered by the Spanish Francisco Pizarro in the mid-15th century. 1206 AD, Genghis Khan proclaimed ruler of the Mongols. Followed 2 centuries of conquest to create the largest contiguous land empire in history. Civil war and division ended his huge empire. 16th century saw the rise of the Spanish Empire. It became a global power by the 18th century with the greatest territorial expansion. Late 16th century, the British Empire, a global power by the late 1800s, largest empire in history. Late 1600, the French Colonial Empire became Napoleon's conquest empire in the early 1800s. 17th century Russian Empire, stretching over 3 continents, defeated Napoleon's ambitions.